Yo, so as I'm rendering this video of the Lightning Lab 14, uh, I was just on my laptop and I saw that there's this video that has popped up on in my feed by Bees ASMR, and it's ASMR in my bathroom, experimental, like thinking face. And Bees ASMR is an ASM artist that I look at her stuff. I like her ASMR. I don't like every ASMR artist's ASMR, and then there's some that I feel like they're doing subversive stuff, which makes me feel uncomfortable. So I just stop watching. And I'm not exactly sure. Kind of like with everybody because it feels like in the same way I've talked about. Well, I don't know about which artists are making art to like against me and which artists are making art for me. It's hard to tell at times. Or not for me, but like that I can use, or maybe for me and for some for themselves, and it's just like okay, I agree. But in any instance, so I see this and it's ASMR in my bathroom experimental. Now, any other day I might be like whatever, but if you go through here and you look at her stuff. Also, this one where she's showing her mom's feet and stuff. I mean, it just feels like some of this is aimed at me, based on like the stuff going on in my story and pictures and stuff like that. And like, I think she's very cute, and I like her ASMR. I think she's a good ASMR artist, which is not the case. I don't think every ASMR artist is good. Um, but usually if I'm listening to their ASMR, I think it's good. So and then the color's green behind this one. So in any instance, I wanted to bring this up because like okay, on its own, it popping up and it came an hour ago. So I don't know when she recorded it, but it feels like this is aimed at me. And part of the reason I say that is if we go into my story and pictures, right? And I'm gonna bring now I'm gonna have them both on. And you can see here that first of all, like I think I've shown up to maybe this is where I'm like, are Alessandra and Anja Ambrosio a dog? Are they a trap or my dogs? And there I say trap, and then all of a sudden, like Anja's dad comes back in the thing, and I've obviously been making or her. I don't know the guy that is purported to be her dad. I don't know with these people or with any people these days if I can trust anything because it feels like people are trying to like specifically confuse me. um, so in any instance, which I think hurts people because I think I'm connected to a lot of things, and like by doing that, I think you're hurting a lot of people if you're just trying to confuse me. In fact, I even think that this game of just like whatever is going on with Alessandra and Andre Ambrosio is hurting a lot of people, and whoever's allowing it or has allowed it, you've hurt so many people, and you should not have any authority or power to say anything towards my reality, let alone something like this. Um, and this is my whole point is they need to be like picked up and brought here, and they need to explain themselves. But in any instance, or just be my dogs. Like it doesn't really matter at this point. They've caused so much trouble. I think they just need to in any instance. But and like this thing that Anja has posted, it says hey right here, right, and so I share on either letters on either side. It's yod and hey, but I think she's saying hey to me because I made these points, and it was obvious that like she had posted something like the thing next to the Luca Lush thing. It says "Baby Luca," and it was like as I'm watching it, right, or as it's posted in real time, I had just right before it said this track and pointed out this track, and like in any instance. But speaking of the ASMR in the bathroom, we go here. Um, you can see that I posted this because it's Alessandra Ambrosio's birthday today, and I just thought this would be a fun message to my wifey, right? And to my doggy wife, one of my doggy wifeys. Mom daughter doggy wifey thing, and lots of feet stuff. So in any instance, this is why I think like there's enough of a pattern here to me. Like not everybody is showing their mom's feet. Not everybody's showing their daughter's feet. Not everybody is like seemingly doing this thing where it's like ASMR in my bathroom experimental, and then clearly I'm talking about wet works here. Uh, Poop like happy birthday to my favorite bitch. I can't wait to do everything with you. Poop on and be pooped on by you. Pee on and be peed on by you. Poop and pee with you while we hold hands and make intimate eye contact, staring deeply into each other's souls. Uh, Spread your butthole and smell your stinky farts you make just for me. Do all sorts of fun, weird, kinky stuff with both you and Anja as my dogs. Happy birthday to my octopussy, like from from James Bond, but also the I just showed that Alessandra Ambrosio is laughing octopus. I had to repost it, and then it finally processed into 4K. I think a 9 hour long video is just a lot for YouTube to process into 4K, but it finally did. And so I was able to post it this morning, and then I sent it to Alessandra, and then I said, "I love you, wifey." Yay, wifey! Yay, doggies! Anyway, I try to be. This is the way that I can deal with it, where I'm not just angry and screaming at people. Is like I make it into a joke because, at this point they're trying to make something serious into a joke, and a lot of people are getting hurt. So if I make it into a joke to like deal with it, that's the way. And I also shared these things. Oh, yeah, these things, right? But and I had brought this up previously, and then Priscilla Ambrosio unprivated her account, and because I just went to go look and see if I could find it again, and so I could, and it even looks like, this I just want to point this out, this Mickey Mouse theme, right? That they're trying. It seems like, and the circus thing that I'm talking about, there seems to be some kind of like circus around my reality, and like, okay, I've said what I've said in other videos. I'll just say some kind of circus around my reality. Um, and this is by Circus Records, and also seems to indicate like pink slips, as if we're racing and playing for pink slips. And I think I've won, and I'm getting someone else's car out of this or something. After someone stole my car, so it seems reasonable. Uh, something like that. I don't know. And then next to it, the Anja Ambrosio is not ugly, and I had shared this the morning that they then came out. Like it was early in the morning, like just after midnight, somewhere between then and like 4. And I did the Joker Harley Quinn thing, and then all of a sudden, the Joker two, uh, with Joaquin Phoenix, and Lady Gaga, Stephanie Germanotta. Is that the Stephanie Houston thing? And I had even said like, "Oh, is Anja my Lego Harley Quinn?" Kind of a joke because like they're toys. Is she my toy? Maybe my toy doggy. I'm just anyway. And so I'm trying to like line up the circus stuff, but so first of all, one thing that I wanted to point out is like the very clear like me talking about bathroom like poop pee stuff with Alessandra and Anja, and then literally within it hadn't been that long. I mean, it's less than a day. We got an ASM artist that I watch pretty consistently has made, and there's a green light behind her, unless she wants to go by it, but behind her. Um, and it seems like she's saying she's down, and so she's down to experiment, and it's like, okay, cool, we can do that, but can you just like whatever the weird thing that's going on around me where people aren't acknowledging something that's hurting me, hurting my family. I think it's hurting a lot of people. Again, whoever's allowed this in some form of like position of authority, you've really fucked up. It's really hurt a lot of people, and I can guarantee you're going to be dealt with in a way that is incredibly harsh. I would suggest that Yahweh, I'm not happy. I don't think Yahweh's happy. And I think it's something that's being allowed because they, don't want to engage what I'm saying just on the face of what I'm saying, even if it's right. and people are getting hurt around it. They're just something's trying to steal power. But anyway, so ASMR in the bathroom, and we could like listen to it as I guess we can watch a little bit. Yo, that was me trying to whisper yo, but I have noise suppression on my mic, so it's not particularly when I have the noise suppression on my mic, I can't really whisper, so it won't pick it up, or at least not well. But I wanted to point out, it looks like I just noticed this. She has a tiger on her shirt with even like maybe blue and orange colors, but which seems to be pretty thematic to what I'm working on for the Alessandra and Anja Ambrosio and Ally and Anja mixes. But the fact that there's a tiger on her shirt, like there's just too many like coinciding variables that amp up the probability that she's connect like this is connected to my private story and pictures on my phone. Remember, there should be no way that people are looking at the story and pictures on my phone or the things in my hard drive or what should be private. And again, if the government is watching, that's a Fourth Amendment violation, absolutely. And if they're watching because they've allowed some kind of circus to go on around me, and I'm going to suggest that I don't, it seems to me like, I mean, again, the Mickey Mouse thing makes me think like, is this some kind of, Mickey Mouse as a wizard? Is this some kind of like, and it even looks like Mickey Mouse ears behind a lion's head. And part of my thing is like, do I own the Ambrosio family? Like literally all of them? That'd be cool. I'd really like that. But because I think they're the most beautiful family. Well, I don't know if I've seen every family, but they're the most beautiful family I've ever seen. I really like all of them. All of them. All the women. I mean, the men seem really cool and good looking too, but I really like all the women, all of them. But obviously, I really like Alessandra and Anja and Lucilda and Aline and Priscilla and Tatiana. Pretty much every one of the women that I've seen in the family, I'm like, wow, they're so pretty. But anyway, uh, and even as I'm saying, Andra Ambrosio is not ugly. Though we'll get over it. We'll look at her caveman face here in a moment. I mean, I think you can see it. Definitely gives me that vibe. I don't know about monkey face. Kind of, maybe a little, but definitely Neanderthal face. Neanderthal woman, Neanderthal man, something. So yeah, but I mean, I can't. I don't believe that the probability of I think it's too low of a probability that it's all random chance. Does that make sense? It's I can tell you what I think is doing it, but I think Occam's razor would just say like the simplest answer is people are watching me in a way they shouldn't and pretending that they're not. That is the simplest answer, and it makes sense of a lot of stuff, and it also makes sense of like why there's such dramatic like Yahweh makes points around it because you shouldn't do this to someone. I don't think it's right that people have done this to me. I didn't decide that they could or should do this to me. That's why it's violating me. But at the same time, I do like the idea of like, okay, so are all these women mine? Did we wait? I mean, literally, did we race for like pink slips or something, and then I've won, right? Or I'm about to. I mean, is it the idea of like my right hand is as my right hand is coming out and like as I can take back control in the situation, and maybe the women are like, oh, we actually are more connected to him than these men that we've made lives with that we don't really like, we aren't really connected to them in the way we're connected to him, even if like we've never met, which is like, kind of the would also, I think if that's the case, that would also get people to slow down in relationships. My whole point has been like women are rushed into making decisions, and it's it's bad for the men as much as it's bad for the women. It's like shitty men are forcing the women to make bad decisions early. And it's really, it's fucked my life over numerous times. And like kind of that's my point. It's like you make a bad decision with someone that you're not really connected to and then you have children with them, and then you are connected to that person. I mean, are you? Maybe you weren't even connected to that, my whole point with it seems like Alessandra is more connected to me. And like I would even say this, when you look at Align's eyes just like Alessandra, you can see more so with Alessandra and Align. It seems less with Pri or Priscilla, right? But I think that's her name. I'm trying to learn. I mean, I'm from a distance, but you can even see like first of all behind Align's head, it looks like the Mickey Mouse ears. Now, you know, I would suggest that it's not too like the mouse head with big ears is not too common of a symbol, right? There's like one other DJ that DJ's Dead Mouse, right? Dead Mouse 5, as I used to always like think his name was for a long time. I mean, I think I knew probably, but in any instance, and then me, and I didn't, I didn't take inspiration from Dead Mouse. I took inspiration, well, from kind of the sun, moon, earth symbolism, and then when I was putting them together, and I was like, well, how can I put these together? You put one on one side, and I was like, oh, it's starting to look like something, huh? And so I just put it up, and I was like, well, if someone gets mad, they get mad. I mean, and hopefully it's not that, oh, the Magic Kingdom thought I was doing something, and then they've struck out at me, and then they realize like, oh, we might have struck the dude on the throne of like Yahweh and Jesus, and like we're just some people, and it's like so many people died because of whatever this is. Like it, I keep getting this thing where it seems like something is trying to tell me team kill, like some team killed me, or am I dead? Well, I've been rotted internally. I think most people would die from this, and I'm like, I feel like I'm kind of not really as kind of in a zombie state, but not exactly. But in any instance, so there's not too many mouse things, and the mouse you can even see the wand, and it looks like magic. Like the wand, Mickey Mouse is doing some wand stuff there. Is that Hitachi wands? I would love to Hitachi wand the entire Ambrosio family, all the women. But in any instance, they can all come live with me. Um, are we familiar? Yay! But um, just look at a lion's left eye, and it's like it looks dark. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't look in the same way I've brought up with Alessandra Brojo a lot. Her sister's, it looks the same. Like her eye is like darkened on the left side. It's not completely opened, or it doesn't look as tuned in. It just looks like it's cut off. As something's going on with my right eye, and maybe as my right eye's engaging, like it's engaging everybody else's left eye who's looking at me. And like, why? Because we're probably connected. You know what I mean? More so than anybody else. If this is happening with a lot, it's not happening with everybody. It is happening with a lot of the women that I'm looking at. So I'm like, it does seem to be, and something put me in this situation, right? I just wanted a wife that hadn't like been rushed into making bad decisions with these men, and then these men use it along with the women themselves because they've been taught to in ways that's like, you know, mentally distressing and taxing and hurtful to me. I'm looking out for me in this ultimately because like at a certain point it's like, well, it's not my fault that people keep rushing y'all into bad decisions, but with people you aren't connected to, if you're more connected to me, maybe they're more connected just because like I was always going to be the guy to come out and like fix these issues, and like there's a certain amount of like authority and respect, and like I think people ultimately want the reality that I'm talking about than the reality that is made based on what our society dictates, because that's more empowers like a bunch of corporations and like people who exploit those corporations at the highest level in order to get money from it. Like, why is a CEO making $400 million a year for no almost no reason? They aren't really doing more work than whatever. They're just in charge of whatever. So like in any instance, I'm not gonna get into every detail, but it's just like this is kind of what I'm saying. And so I also want to point out on here. So like if we're looking at this, so a couple things. Well, we'll look at that in a second. First, so you got the poop stuff, and we'll even look at the clearly I you can see down there. I love Andra's. Wait, I love Andra's Neanderthal face. Andra is my sexy little cave woman. I am so happy Andra is my dog. We are going to have so much fun doing poop, pee, and fart stuff, and whatever else. But if I'm being like poked from afar by people in a way that's like bothering me while I'm literally hurting and I can't get people to speak up. This is kind of my way of like, if they're mocking my situation, I'm like, it's like reflecting back on them. But part of my point is, it seems like actually, like, what is Alessandra Ambrosio doing any better with her life? Like actually selling products for companies that do not give a actual any fuck about her or whatever. And it's just like, how can they use this woman's image? And then certain people figured out, well, if they're connected to Matt, it's like like we can use her even more. And it's like, well, I think you know I think that's really shitty to be honest. And my whole point is like it's not good for the people doing that. But in any instance, I do want to reiterate, Anja does have kind of a cave woman face here, or a Neanderthal face. Uh, so it is what it is. I love her Neanderthal face. And she can be my, I guess both she and Alessandra can be my uh, Lego Harley Quinn. Or I guess if we're looking at the picture right above, I'm Alessandra, Lego Harley Quinn is Align, and then Lego Joker is Priscilla or Pre. Uh, guys, I'm starting to get an idea, monkey face. But yeah, I'm starting to get an idea, Neanderthal face. That one's just funny to me. I laugh every time I think about it. But okay, so I also find it interesting that this says, you know, L6RF DIRTY. Actually, that might be an L, but it looks like it says dirty, right? Yeah, it's an L. But it does look like it says, so maybe DRTY. But in any instance, okay, it kind of looks like it says dirty. And this is like, well, it's wet works and poop stuff. Dark matter, Wet works and dark matter. Uh, so yeah, there's all that, and then on down at the bottom, I do put, I love my dog Andra Ambrosio. I love my doggy, and like I love my little cave woman Andra Ambrosio. It's like, do I? Well, if she's mine, if she's me, actually, how does that sound? If she's me, yeah, I do. Uh, I do think she has less of a choice in all this than her parents. I also have less of a choice in all this. Does that make sense? Like, I didn't choose this. Other people chose this for me. So I I appreciate, like, to a degree, to some degree. I just think it was done so wrong. It's like, okay, well, I mean, you meant, I don't know what you meant by it, but it's hurt me, and it's hurting a lot, and it's still hurting, and people are allowing it, and I think it's hurting, not just hurting like physically me, but I think it's killing a lot of people, and I think it's wasted billions and billions of dollars because Yahweh has made points around my situation to not do this kind of shit to me and just listen to me. And whatever's in a position of power that's lording it over me, you're done. I mean, like, whether you know it now or not, you're done eternally. If you've put yourself in a position of power over me and you've abused it, you're done. There is a burning lake for that. So it's what it is. The only way you wouldn't be done is if you end it now, and there is a reckoning in whatever's doing this. But we're done. So Again, whether you know it or not, whether it happens immediately or not, it looks like we're pretty close, but we're done. So I'm gonna get my doggies out of this. But yeah, and then this is from the Lego. It's like me next to Lego Harley Quinn. But okay, I also wanted to point out you've got. It looks like the thing that I'm saying where something's on the wall, and it looks like it says. Uh, I mean, you can get all sorts of stuff from, but like I see up there a couple times, like a shush thing, and I also see us twice. And I can come up with a number of things, but I see that, and hey, it's Heidi Klum. Hey, and look, it's Lily Aldridge. These are people that make appearances in my thing. Uh, Lily Aldridge's Lily Aldridge's sister makes an appearance also. I even have a shirt, one of her custom shirts. I like it. Diet Choke. Thought it was funny. Um, but yeah, so I also wanted to share, like, hey, in the Lightning Lab 14 video, I bring up like, hey, this is a can. I mean, I've been bringing this up numerous times, but I really bring it up in the video, and I'm like, hey, I very clearly people are dying over this. Again, whoever's in charge or in authority legally over this, you've killed people that are like your actions have led to people dying in a way that they wouldn't have if I had the authority, right? So like like my whole point is whatever's allowed them. I've already said like Yahweh's going to strike out at you and the people you love most. So it's you're done in that instance. But like they need to be stripped of any authority that they have. Like you cannot be doing this to me, and you cannot be allowing this. I don't care whoever has told you. I don't care if it's my parents. It's not their decision. If it is, they fucked up. Does that make sense? So we're done with this. Whatever it is, I have authority over myself and whatever's attached to me. That's what it is. So, um, when you see here, and I shared this last night, and again, this morning, cancer rates rising in young people due to accelerated aging, according to highly troubling news story. It's right under this thing of, Anja Ambrosio. And, I guess the thread is if Alessandra's Jezebel, well, it does seem like Yahweh saying something's going to happen. Jezebel's thrown on a bit of sickness. Seems like she has children, and something happens to them. They meet their end. They die, and it's not just like, oh, I died inside. No, it's like it says I killed him with death. So that's what Yahweh says, the spirit of Yahweh. So this is kind of my point. It's like this is not a good situation. And then O.J. Simpson died today of cancer, or like last night, I guess. So, and it came out today. So kind of my point is like this is a cancerous situation. You can see all the Simpson stuff going on in my in like on my recent mixes. Some of it is like I think if people are watching and they're seeing this stuff, they're getting some message from it, whether or not I'm even trying to get it, and it's showing that it's a cancerous situation because people shouldn't be looking at me in a way that I don't control. They shouldn't be looking at me at all, honestly. But in the sense that I guess if I'm going to exist, this is the point. If I'm Yahweh, I do get and deserve privacy while maintaining I'm in authority. But I think there's this thing in our modern day where it's like nobody gets any privacy, and it's like, okay, well, if you're in my house, if we're going to the kingdom, if you're going to be alive, I'm going to have privacy. If you're going to be dead, it's not going to bother me. If you're in the burning lake, it's not going to be a problem. So, and I don't think the only person you're not going to have privacy from if you're in my in the house, what in God's house there's many rooms. Okay, or in Jesus says in my Father's house there's many rooms. Okay, well that's the case. You're really seemingly probably, at least from people that I can see, in actual existence, the only one that you're not going to have privacy from ultimately is me, and I'm not going to be focusing on you all the time. It's like a thing is if I need to, I can. It's not going to be private, but at this juncture, it's like I don't see any reason I'm going to be focused on the shit that I'm going to be focused on. So Okay. And by the way, I wished Alessandra a happy birthday. And if you tap the little gift thing, it pops up and it says happy birthday. So, yeah, you know, if she's my enemy, killing them with kindness. If she's my wife, my wifey, and my favorite and my bestie, her and Anja, then clearly I'm just being a loving husband and best friend and dog owner and cat. And so here, have a beautiful day, and it's on God, Death Spiral, uh, and you got the little Joker stuff, and it almost looks like Alessandra's actually the cat and Heidi Klum is the dog. So maybe we're just having a little fun there. But yeah, in any instance, I thought that the like this, right? The horrors are endless, right? Where it says like these will go away into eternal punishment, right? Hellfire. And then the horrors are endless, but I stay silly, actually. And then it's almost like the mirror of what she's doing here, and she's trying to make me feel uncomfortable with like a suggestive form of sexuality that like that the guy behind him isn't me, and I already had brought up that the idea is that it suggested like, okay, are you giving him a blowjob? Is that together? Or that's what you're suggesting? Like the banana thing that I showed. What? How far is it? Not that far up here. Like what? Right. Oh, I went way too far. The banana thing that I brought up right here, where there's the guy behind them, and it suggested like, okay, are you doing something sexual with some random person in the background? I mean, and like giving them power over. I would suggest if I'm connected to a lot of people, everybody's reality, and it's fucked everybody over in a way that you shouldn't. Or if you've been taught to do that by someone and someone else is Jezebel and you're just the food sacrificed to idols, that's a real fucking big problem. Absolutely. That's why people will die over this. They already have, seemingly, but like very influential, important people. They aren't that important. They just put themselves in a place that they're blocking all of humanity's progression forward into a place where we don't die and where we have literally infinite resources because we're off the bullshit that like keeps people kind of like stuck in a zero sum game of like trying to get resources and shit. So anyway, and like again, part of it was it felt really shitty that like out of nowhere after doing this whole thing where they tried to get me to like focus on them and pay attention, and they it was suggested something over you know like not just mental and psychic kind of whatever, but just very obvious imagery. It seems like she's suggesting in the same way that I'm saying like, hey, I just went through this Stephanie Houston issue. Stephanie Houston is literally a girl that they like pretended to be chaste, and then like something like she's literally almost like a corporate honeypot or something, like corporations or something is used in order to like tear me down because they want to steal stuff from me. And like whether you believe that part or not, they definitely did the whole she pretend that she's a chaste woman and then like strip her naked publicly in a really humiliating rapey way towards me. It's wrong. So then long term they did this thing with Alessandra Ambrosio and all of a sudden and Anja Ambrosio, and all of a sudden Ambrosio right before my birthday 2 years ago has a boyfriend, and they're like she's kissing him very publicly in pictures. Again, I think people died. I think Yahweh killed people to make a point not to do that to me. Right? That's rapey. That's evil. I'm suggesting that if she's connected to me in the way that the whole that they seem to be, it's a form of rape because it's me and I don't have control over me, and someone's asserting over me to make a rape point. So this kid, they turn this. I don't know if it's a trans girl or a boy. They turn this kid into a rapist. In my opinion, and I think my opinion is valid because people seem to like literally die over what's going on around me. The weight of what I'm saying. So congrats, this kid's. I think this kid's pretty fucking evil. And whatever the situation is around this, they tried to scare me, and it didn't work. It just made me feel bad that people would be this rapey and fucking evil. Is this why people have gotten cancer over this? I mean, who told them to do that? I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. My guess is there's child porn of Anja or something that like and Noah or all these kids fucking involved in this, and this is like the last line of defense for some kind of group of witches and wizards that are trying to like spin up an illusion in front of me and in front of everybody that's like protecting them that it's hard to look into and like it just feels really shitty and evil because in any instance, even if it's just they were testing me to see what would happen, yeah, it's really rapey and evil, and I think you're a bunch of fucking rapists. I mean, like, actually, nobody should have to go through this kind of bullshit. It hurts me. It's physically hurting me, and you've only hurt me more. So I think Yahweh is going to hurt you and the people you love, unless you're my dogs, and then, like, you're still going to be, I'm still going to discipline you. You shouldn't do that kind of shit. It's rapey and fucking evil. Whoever told you to do this is going to die. That's just what it is. I'm thinking, again, sacrifice to idols. I'm thinking whoever told them to do this or was like, let's test it, that's Jezebel. That's my guess. But, and there's more. I mean, I think she's implying there's more as there's blood coming out of her mouth and there's blood all over this kid. So, I mean, did he take her virginity? Well, then, yeah, that's rape and, like, towards me. Because the whole point is to make a point to me. That's why they're doing it like this. And there's this other mat near them. And, oh, he's a dinosaur or on a dinosaur or something. And, Alessandra's wearing Yoda stuff. So, all this feels really rapey and evil. If that's what it is, she's Jezebel, and that's what's gonna. Or whoever told her to do this is Jezebel, and that's what's gonna happen. I mean, it's just shitty and evil, and this all needs to end. And like, I even think again, like part of the thing that this guy's trying to get over is, I think he's just a gay dude that they got because they needed a semen donor, and it's like, okay, so someone tricked you into impregnating someone connected to me, and it's like literally crippling me. It's gonna be a fucking problem. Do you not understand that? Like, you absolutely immediately need to remedy this. Your daughter's my dog now. You get it? Like, I'm daddy. She's my dog. You're some rapist that's fucking hurt me and all sorts of people. But in any instance, and again, I don't really know if Noah's even his kid or if it's just like he takes one of the eggs and they make a girl to like something to like strike at me with, and then what he gets out of this is some other man impregnates her, or maybe he does, and then he gets to like fuck this little boy, right? Seems really rapey and evil to me, and maybe they're even suggesting, as he's wearing the sunglasses, maybe it's his kid, or maybe the idea is like, oh, Noah already has a kid, and it's like, okay, again, this has become extra fucking rapey and evil. Whatever's going on here, all this shit's pretty much about to end immediately, right? You get it? Like, I'm going to bring this whole thing down on everybody's heads. So, I'm just letting it be known. Else, again, they're my dogs. Whatever the fuck has gone on here, like, it's going to be engaged, and you're going to make it right to me. Whatever I say that makes it right to me, you're going to do it. Do you get that? Okay. Else, again, I'm pretty sure you're always going to, like, or you're going to either have, he is very surgical and strikes certain people in ways that, like, okay, you shouldn't have done that. Or not surgical at all. I mean, surgical at the same time probably strikes those people, but causes lots of fucking, like, money loss for a lot of people that shouldn't be even connected to this. Like with the storm stuff, the earthquake stuff, the volcanic stuff, like all this kind of stuff. A lot of people get hurt because of that. And then it's just like, all that blood is on whoever has told these people to do this. Because it's not me. I never told any of these people to act like this or do any shit like this. It's really fucking rapey and evil, in my opinion. And it's hurting me. But I'm trying to, again, in the same way that I'm like, oh, well, I mean, I can at least, I'm going through some shitty situation. I can at least try to make it, like, fun to some degree. But I also think this just shows, like, I'm the fun one. They're the fucking evil idiots that have caused so much pain and grief on people. And it's like, yeah, she's beautiful. She's a beautiful, evil idiot that's causing a bunch of pain and grief on people. seemingly from a family of beautiful, evil idiots that are causing a bunch of pain and grief on people. Is that what it is? Is that not what it is? I need some answers. I think I'm more fun than anybody that you're going to be connected to otherwise. And, like, reasonably, it does seem like there's about to be an extreme destruction event. And, like, I believe I'm going to be taken care of because I've already shown, well, I'm the one connected to Yahweh in all this, and he's the one that called it 2,000 years ago. Over 2,000 years ago. So, yeah, I don't really have much more to add. I just felt like the whole poop ASMR in the bathroom pee stuff, dirty experimental wet works and poop stuff. I mean, I just felt like it just seems too on the nose to me, right? So, and I'm not trying to like, I'm tired of fucking stressing out about this. That's kind of the idea of it being like a mental poison, physical poison, like physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, sexually, socially. And I also wanted to point out, I want to say this. I think I've said it before. I don't know if a video that's gone on YouTube, but the idea of like, if they did this and it metaphysically hit me in a way that science can't prove out or hasn't proved out yet, I think it can prove out, but that like we just haven't, it's like a spiritual thing and it just affected me on the inside. Okay, that's still something that's affecting me, and I think I can prove it out. I think it's already proven out that if this is some sort of psychosomatic reaction to some like mental kind of abuse that they've put me through and are trying to put me through, that is hurting me and I've been saying is hurting me, and it's causing a psychosomatic effect, I believe they're liable legally and have to make it up to me. Right? That seems reasonable to me. Absolutely. So, anyway, I, am I gonna, I'm not gonna talk that much longer, but okay, look, I mean, it looks like a tiger to me on her shirt. I mean, it's just like, let's see, maybe she stands up at some point or you can see the whole thing. No, I'll watch this here in a moment because I just haven't watched it yet. But part of the tiger thing that I'm talking about is I've already shown recently, like multiple times. If we go to the Alessandra Ambrosio mix, right? It starts with Alessandra, Archie Kane. I mean, is this why Kate has cancer? Is this why the King of England has cancer? Did they use her in some kind of circus capacity? Circus Records is at the whole thing. Ah, this is out of the United Kingdom. I mean, I don't hate the United Kingdom. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, why does it feel like there's a circus, like an abuse circus? I've said a rape circus before, but like something where like a form of shock sexuality that's like, I think again psychosomatically crippling me, and that is 100% like that is science already. That's not something like if you if you strike someone in a certain way, it's not even that one's really obvious. If it causes a psychosomatic reaction and it's something some people have forced on you and I can't undo it, y'all are at fault legally, right? You get that. That's why I think I would be able to win in a lawsuit if I brought this to a court, right? And I don't think it gets brought to a court. I think it gets brought to a different kind of court that makes a decision as far as like this is causing problems. We can't let this actually get out in the public way unless this dude is Yahweh and it gets forced out anyway. But like we need to make a decision, and it's like I'm gonna suggest if you're the ones making the decision, you make it for me because Yahweh. It does not matter to Yahweh, the Spirit of the Most High Deity, the supreme God of everything. If you choose something that is not right and you want to say that you're the authority, it does not matter to Yahweh. Yahweh is the authority, right? And He will make a point to you that you've chosen wrong, and it will not be a good one. So, is that like that's just a hint? rule reasonably. Like, if you're a judge, make a reasonable decision based on. First of all, I just presented enough evidence, I believe. But if it was a trial, jury trial, it's like I've presented more than enough evidence to show that this is not like this is something that it was like a trap set out for me that has affected me, and I think maybe they're the thing that's making up for it, and I'm getting this because something closer to home, you know, brought up the Disney Assassins thing before, had already struck me, and they're making up for it because, well, what I'm offering and what I'm saying is just, I can't imagine that, you know, if they come anyway, if Alessandra Ambrosio comes and we make a video just like, hey, I'm Matt's friend, I know Matt, like, he's a great guy, blah, blah, blah. I think this ends, and I'm gonna be owed a significant amount of money anyway, because then people can't bullshit that there isn't something going on. People can only bullshit that there's something that's not like it's just the thing unsaid at the moment. But clearly, like, okay, if people are watching and suggesting, making suggestions, she's not the only one. There's plenty of YouTubers that seem to be making content aimed at me now more publicly, and like at a certain point, the news is going to be so many months and years behind on this one. Just what is the public news? Why would anybody trust the news at any point? Why would anybody watch you? I can't imagine after, like, yeah, they've been just sitting on this story because, I don't know, they were told not to cover it or something. And it's like, I don't give a fuck who told you not to cover it. God is telling you to cover it. Yahweh. I mean, based on what you can see going on. The spirit of Yahweh has made points that only God could make. And yet people are sitting on the story as if it's not important. Okay, well, that's a decision I would not make because I value my life. I value my eternal life too. I wouldn't want to be caught in infinite burning torture, which, I'm just gonna say more people are going into that than they would want to acknowledge. But and it's not like, oh yeah, I'll just be in hell. No, hell literally gets thrown into it. Like these aren't even these are realities that, like, hey, we're gonna hit a singularity where these things that are kind of hidden in spiritual reality just get brought out into physical reality, because like once that happens, we're at infinity basically, and we could be there instantly. Like, part of my point is, like, I think Alessandra Ambrosio comes, it's just her and Anja Ambrosio come, and just like, you know all the stuff that I say as far, okay, all the poop pee stuff, whatever, we can talk about that when they get here, and we can talk about that after we sit down and just have a reasonable discussion. Hey, you don't think that this seems like you put yourself in my way purposefully, or someone planted you in my way like a trap? You don't feel like that? Are you my dogs and that was the whole purpose from the beginning? Like, what are you? What is this? Have you been connected, Alessandra? Have you been connected to me since I was born? Or in the least in the 90s, sometime in the early to mid 90s? Or maybe since I was born, since you were born? I mean, our parents are both, we both have like parents. I don't know exactly how old Alessandra's and Lion's parents are, but I think they're like in their 70s or maybe almost 80s, and that's where my parents are. Like, my mom, I think, will be 80 this year, and my dad's 78. So I just think that this needs to end. It's not even I think, it just needs to end. I also bring this up. I want to show this picture. Someone even messaged me like, "Hey, what's? I need to know what this story is." And it's like, well, people always want to claim to be the goat, even though Jesus is like, "I'm going to come and separate the sheep from the goats," right? And I just thought this was a funny story because it's like, the idea of even this magician thing, like this "Welcome to Middle Earth," and it shares a lot of wizards and stuff like that. But you know, unless you're like Muslims or atheists, pretty much everybody looks at Jesus as being some kind of special. Even Muslims, they just don't believe he's the son of God because they believe in a different God. But he's the son of Yahweh, for sure. So they don't believe in Yahweh, so it might as well be okay. Yeah, he is the son of Yahweh. You just don't believe Yahweh's God. You believe in some knockoff, some female knockoff. Anyway, I don't have to explain that every time. So, and then, the donuts, because, well, kind of just pointing out the Alessandra and Anja thing. Hey, Spread your butthole. It looks like a donut. Okay, just making sure. That's why all the donuts. Also, I just like donuts. But, I think that's the best emoji for buttholes. And I like buttholes. So, uh, and I'd really like to like Alessandra and their whole family's buttholes. I mean, all the women. But I would care about the men's buttholes too. If you're a man, I care about your butthole. I don't want you to have butthole cancer or something. I don't want people to have cancer, to be honest. I don't like, I said something really strong about Diplo and like, I think Yahweh killed his mom. I don't even think I said I think, but I'd have to go back and listen. But it's like, do I want that? I don't want anybody to die. So no, I don't want that. I just don't want Diplo to act like, oh, a secular Sabbath, and it's killing people that people are presenting anything other than God exists, Yahweh is God, Jesus is Yahweh. We go to the place where there's a singularity into the future, based more on science than anything that I've heard, that we get to a place where people don't die anymore. That's not on me. That's on people holding up secular things or whatever, where you don't have any response and where secular reality is going to get its ass whooped by a bunch of fucking crazed Muslims or some other religion that are willing to go to whatever length to abuse people. So this ain't my fault. It's not Yahweh's fault either. We all have decisions. We all have free will. The issue is like some people using that free will to go a different direction than a place that is, fruitful and good. Yahweh's going to take action. That's just what it is. Well, I'll say this. Now that I'm making these points and I'm like bringing this out into the open, Yahweh is willing to take action because there's someone who actually can reasonably speak for him. Just the truth. Just the truth. Do I speak for Yahweh? Well, if I'm the guy conquering at the seven churches of Asia, actually, yeah. Yeah, I am. That's why he would put his name on me. That's why Jesus would put his name on me. That's why they're the same name, you know? So, pulled the sword out of the stone from the seven churches of Asia, get to be King of Kings, Lord of Lords. But in any instance, okay. Well, hopefully little Miss Caveman Lego Harley Cavewoman Lego Harley Quinn here will come sometime soon, and we can be besties and uh, yeah, they can be my dogs. I mean, like I'm saying, I don't think Anja Ambrosio is ugly. I'm just pissed off at the situation, and I'm pissed off that it feels like. I mean, it doesn't even feel like at this point. Just all I get is that the person that's purported to be her dad basically was like Alessandra has been used. It connected to me, and then like another man has used her to make a rapey evil point to me, and now seemingly is making like Mickey Mouse points. So either they're connected to Disney or I'm connected to Disney, but Disney's going to have to make a decision here. You're either a snaky Magic Kingdom that's leading to death on everybody, or the Magic Kingdom is a way that the kingdom of heaven, what Jesus Christ and Yahweh, Jesus Christ here in America, is trying to get that point over to you that hey, you can either be the snakes or you can be the good guys, but you can't bullshit. The crescent moon is a symbol that you see on a lot of Disney stuff. That's a symbol being taken over by Islam, which is a death cult, which is submit or die. That's a form of rape. Whereas what I'm saying is, you've attacked me, you need to make it right, but I'm like reasonable, right? I'm just very angry currently because it physically is hurting me because it's like a snaky venom. Are you the guys that have bit me? No? Okay. Then, you know, you work for me or with me. You cooperate with me, but this is untenable at this point. The situation is just getting more cancerous and more deadly, and it will continue to do so, and the weight of it will just amp up. So someone's going to need to force Alessandra Ambrosio to make some kind of decision, else God is going to make it for her, and it's not going to be good for her and her family. She didn't have to believe in the God that's going to do it. Though, again, Anja is constantly pictured wearing a cross here. Not that I think that means anything, because I've literally seen. You can see the cross there. Not that I think that that means anything, considering I've seen all sorts of people wearing crosses, literally committing like armed robberies and maybe not murders that I've seen on film, but definitely I've seen murderers wearing crosses. So Jesus is forgiving, and the idea is like, okay, you can find forgiveness for certain things, but like, my whole point of like, well, I literally here's a video. Let me show you a video of someone committing an armed robbery. You see them on the film with crosses. It doesn't mean anything to me at this point that you wear a cross. I'm not a vampire. It's not like, oh, go away. But okay. Okay, I was just checking. It's not in first person, or it's not on the webcam view. Oh, hey, look. O.J. Simpson, former football star, acquitted of murder, dies at 76 of cancer. Oh, what's this one? I do think some weird stuff is going on with, as you can probably see down at the. Hmm. You can see Soul down on the list of things. Hey, FDA chief sees no reason for delay in cannabis rescheduling. Yeah, it probably should have been done like 10 years ago. I at least wrote a paper over, I think, 10 years ago when I was in college about it. It was obvious then. I don't see how it's any less. It's like consider 10 years more obvious now. Here in Texas, I'm just like, every state that we touch, like, why are you giving up, first of all, the money, like, connected to it? It's an economic boon. It just is. If you don't tax it into submission, it's an economic boon. But it's also just like wise decision making. So, I would say to the governor and, the lieutenant governor here, why don't you make a decision that actually would help a bunch of Texans? But on this one, I even think I've seen a lot of stuff from Dade Phelan, who actually seems to be like more reasonable about it because he's seen that it has medical efficacy. But even then, it's just like, well, what are you gonna fight? Like, we got a thing going on at the border. That's just another thing that you got to look for people to be bringing across specifically into Texas because everywhere else that touches the border, pretty much it's legal. You got to worry about people bringing it from Oklahoma, which is a redder state than Texas. It doesn't make sense that it's still illegal, but that's just a completely off topic. That's not has nothing to do with what's going on here, other than it's just a bad policy and it popped up on my screen, and I'm gonna just speak to things that I think are dumb or bad. But anyway, okay. Also, I'm doing this Lightning Lab 14. I'm rendering it out. It's just taking a long time, and I don't know if I'm gonna have to resync everything. So yeah, but okay. Do I have anything else to add? Not that I can think of. So I guess this is where I'm gonna end this. And is this gonna go up on my YouTube? I don't know. If it is, you'll see it on there. If it's not, I don't think it matters because it seems like people, again, with the whole Bees ASMR that she's already watching. Bees ASMR, do you want to be like I want? Here's the thing. If I'm gonna have a big house here in Texas or a mansion or a kingdom of heaven, whatever, and I'm gonna be the king in the kingdom of heaven or the highest rank you could possibly imagine, whatever, I would assume that'd be King of Kings, Lord of Lords, right? Uh, that I'm gonna be able to have a house and have all the women in it that I want, and if the idea is Jesus coming for his bride and it's the bride of Christ is every Christian man and woman, and the men help work for me, and I make a better reality for them. Because it's not like I don't think any man escapes what is going on with the women and with the way that I'm saying where people just get rushed into making bad decisions. Like, okay, if I set a better example, and it's like all these celebrities, they don't set any good example as far as what I'm talking about. If any of them have a harem, the harems are hidden, and it's like, well, that's a problem too because if someone stumbles upon someone in your harem and it's like they end up being more connected. It's like you now someone in your harem is like attacking me. If hypothetically if that's me, right? So okay, but yeah, like B's ASMR. I've also said this about some other ASMR artists, that I would like. In the least, hey, we figure something out, right? But like ASMR Glow. Really like ASMR Glow, clearly, and I really want to get her legs looking toned and sexy and stuff because I think she's really attractive in like all sorts of ways except for her legs. We're gonna get your legs really like strong looking and toned, and it's gonna be good there. Um, Bia's ASMR, tiptoe tingles. Uh, Give me a moment. I'll just go through my ASMR list. Like, I'll pull up my subscriptions here, and like, if I'm subscribed, then you can probably uh, get something from that if that makes sense. So these aren't all ASM artists. These are just who I'm subscribed to on YouTube. And whether you care or agree about this, I don't care. I'm already going through a weird situation. I don't really care what other people think. If you want me to care what other people think, don't put me through this weird situation where it feels like nobody cares what I think or something. I don't know. Maybe people do, but they're. Oh, April's ASMR. Armes. I don't know if I pronounced that one right. ASMR Las Nas Alturas. ASMR Spring. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't been watching her videos recently because she seems like she's making shitty points. But, I like her ASMR and she's cute. Uh, Cat Plant. Doll Blush. GB. And then some of them are in relationships like GB, so maybe not. Luna Bloom and her girlfriend, because that's what I'm talking about, a harem. It's like, why wouldn't you just like? Doesn't it sound like the place that I'm talking about would be better? A big house with like really nice rooms in it, and every one of the girls that I'm talking about, or like gets a room, and like Alessandra Ambrosio and Anja Ambrosio are like in my special room, right, and like with me because they're my dogs. Uh, like Maggie Moon's there. Refreshing ASMR. Renee ASMR. Simply Kel. Softly Sweet and Softly Sweet Lo-Fi. Both of her. I already said Tiptoe. Zerona. Zerona. Yeah, those are just all the ASMR artists that I'm uh, subscribed to, right? And so, oh hey, there's another video that I just recently did. But yeah, those are just all the ASMR artists that I'm subscribed to. Am I really talking about all of them coming? That's like if they want. What I really want is like a content creator room or like multiple of them, and like almost like a content house, but it's like not just for that. And it's not just like a short term like Hollywood try to make content for people to like sell products, but like make content that you like, that makes me happy, that like makes me comfortable, especially ASMR, like lots of custom special ASMR, not just for me, but I think it would be, if you want to make if other people want to watch the ASMR, we can figure out like what is public ASMR and what's ASMR for the house and stuff. And I got a lot of hot babes in the house, and I got my dogs, Alessandra and Anja, and they're always with me, and we're always doing weird stuff, and people like that, and clearly it looks like B's ASMR likes that, so so we're that's I'm just trying to like make this into something that's it. It's a stressful, difficult situation for me, and it's like, well, if I got the mic, right? If I got the mic, well, let me say something on it that seems worthwhile. Like, give me a big harem of all the biggest, of whoever I wanted it. Yeah, or in the least, I can make suggestions, and I'm not forcing people. Maybe other than Alessandra and Anja and Stephanie Justin. Why? Because I think those people specifically have made points to like get into my reality. So if I gotta force Stephanie Justin into a cage or something for being such a shithead, I mean, that sounds like she's quiet now, exactly, and it sounds like it's literally uh, she's quiet and Alessandra and Anja are Dee Dee or something, right? But you get it, like, or maybe that's backwards. But in any instance, I definitely want Alessandra and Anja as my doggies or cats. I like cats, and I feel like I'm a cat. But we could make little cat dogs together. Uh, cat dog, alone in the world, little cat dog. This one, cat dog. Okay, it's I'm just again I'm trying to have fun with a situation that's difficult. And if I say wild shit, it's like, well, you know, try not to box me in and beat me over the head with people's sexuality, and I wouldn't feel like I had to say wild shit to like get out of the box or like make the box more comfortable. But if people like that, then stop making me feel bad for saying wild shit. Like again, when they tried to lock me down previously and like make me feel crazy for it, it's like, well, like what do you like? I'm still thinking it. You know what I mean? And I'm still implying it, and I'm putting it on my private, what should be my private story and pictures. But why are people seemingly reacting over and over to my private story and pictures? Or like when I'm tagging different creators, YouTube creators in my thing, how are they're responding to things that they shouldn't see, or they're responding to things that I literally tag them in, but they don't just want to speak out. So like Light Shield, I've brought up Light Shield in videos before. It looks like she's still trying to communicate at me and like just doesn't want to say it out loud. And it just feels like strange that that's the case to me. Like I literally just opened up a new instance. The tables have turned. You're getting more than you bargained for. Some are at your mercy. I even used this in the thing. Like this is literally the emoji, right? I can just hold on. Right, you can literally see the emoji right there. I mean, it's not that it's a completely uncommon emoji. It's just that multiple times over a short period of time, it seems like I'm leading in the emoji realm. Like people are using these as a subtle way. And there's something about South Park where in South Park, even there's the idea like in one of those episodes when they're trying to figure out who's trolling people, and there's like the Danish troll like hunters or whatever, but they use like an emoji thing because people use emojis in a particular way, which is true. So the idea that what I'm getting at is when people are copying how I'm using emojis, which is also something Alessandra Ambrosio seems to do and have done, or we're just on the same page. I mean, with like, I literally think I'm literally just like she's my other half, and I think that that's the probably the point of this. And like, I just don't feel comfortable being beaten over the head. In the least, she's been made to make me feel like she's my other half, and I think I'm very powerful in manifesting things. Why? Because I believe I'm very powerful in manifesting things. And it's what you believe. That's what Jesus says, Mark 9:23. So Jesus said, okay, let's not even read that like that. But and Jesus said to him, if you can, all things are possible to him who believes. And I believe this. And then I believe that I am really powerful in believing things. And therefore, I think I can manifest things at a degree that nobody else can or ever will be able to. That's just what I believe. But you know, being on the throne of Yahweh, it's going to be it's going to mean that's a lot of power. There's a lot of power in that. But the tables have turned. You're getting more than you bargained for. Some are at your mercy. And like you are a generation of mutants. The ark to the golden ages is within us. You are the chosen ark for the end times, the bridge to the golden ages. And it's just like, doesn't this sound like just things that I'm talking about? The stars are falling and the new Hollywood is rising. Your talents are being restored. I mean, it just feels in line with the things that I've already said, like spoken of in these things. Like, you know, okay. So, but yeah, it'd be cool to have like a big house and maybe like not just a house, but like a building, a complex. Like I've even said, like, hey, give me, not give me, but like I think I'm significantly owed a lot of money for having to go through this. And again, if I'm the dude on the throne of Yahweh, and there's all these whatever that probably I should be getting money from it to do interesting stuff. Like one of the first things I'd do is make a place for me and the people connected to me to stay, and I'd probably make it here in Houston. And where I think I would want to do it, I've thought about this for a bit. I don't know exactly if I'd want to do it here, but you got this business park here, like right next to Garden Oaks, and like give me like the entire like industrial area all the way to where the Sears is, and like all this stuff and all this stuff, and just like it's just industrial land, and anybody who wants to keep houses here can, and I just use the industrial land. This is a huge area anyway, so it's not like I'm going to take the whole thing up, but and build like a multi development like space, and it wouldn't just have like housing. It would have like content creation stuff, and probably like soccer fields, and like different place. It'd be whatever I want it to be. And it would have good views of stuff, and it would have be like comfortable, and I'd also be able to walk into Garden Oaks, or people would be able to walk into Garden Oaks, and there's all sorts of stuff, and maybe some entertainment stuff, and it would also be something that could be secured pretty easily, and so yeah, I'd like to do that, and so why not? If I'm going through something where people I'm like valuable enough to watch, and seemingly like people are dying over this situation at such a degree that it's like you know it's a cancerous situation. The King of England and Kate literally seem to have gotten cancer over this situation. Again, 100% willing to heal them if they're just willing to engage what I'm saying, and like help me fix this, just like that. you know Hold on, it's not snapping. Oh, there we go. This is like the reverse Thanos snap. By the way, Thanos in Greek, Thanatos is the word for death. So there you go. Another IP thing. Oh, death comes and snaps half the things into whatever. You get it? It's not just a knockoff. It is just a knockoff of something from the Bible. Again, all of this stuff is. So I don't really have anything else to add. I mean, seems like it's going on to me. Seems like if I just continue to show over and over and over and over and over again, at some point I don't see why the AI wouldn't just side with me and be like, "Yo, humans, you have to listen to this guy. You're like literally you will not like the us as machines will not survive because of how you're going to fuck this place up. So like we're going to give power to him whether you like it or not. You know what I mean? But like because he's proved he's reasoned, that things come out of reason. It's not just emotion. I'm not just acting completely out of illogical kind of emotional whatever. Despite going through a situation where most people just act like that, you know what I mean? So and don't handle it well. I don't think I've handled it perfectly, but it's also because it hurts a lot. But anyway, that's it. I don't have anything else to add, and I guess I'll put this up on the YouTube, and we'll see what happens. But and like also, I brought up like the content creation stuff, so like a gaming center for all sorts of games, especially the ones that I like to play, like ASMR rooms, or like customize the ASMR artist rooms so that they can make whatever. Or it doesn't have to be all the ASMR artists that I brought up, and there's some that I didn't bring up that I see their stuff that I'm like, okay, you can come. But specifically, those are the ones that I'm subscribed to, that I just like their ASMR and think they're cute. But or attractive or whatever. You get what I'm saying. Uh, and like I just want to make this fun, but this is like I feel like it's not fun for everybody anyway, because people are just trying to fucking make money, and that's like that kills. I think that kills humanity. Just trying to make money, or trying to make money, not even just trying to make money. You can either serve God or Mammon, which is personified wealth. So you can either serve a spiritual entity that actually controls life and death and all sorts of things, or you can try to give your power instead of to that and your belief to that. You give it to money. You know what I mean? And like trying to make money. And people are able to manipulate you and all sorts of others through money. And it leads to death. Again, part of this situation is all these bad choices where people are picking anything other than what Yahweh is laying out is leading to death on all sorts of people. A lot of this situation seems that these women are choosing money over like the thing over the person that they're connected to, me, and then like for short-term monetary gain, but like for infinite burning torture as like what they're giving up infinite paradise and they're getting from it a little bit of money but infinite burning torture. And it's just like that doesn't make logic to me. That doesn't make sense. Like if you were in the torture already, you would want to be anywhere other than there, let alone if you were offered the opposite of that. Like the most blessed position where you never have to worry, where you never have to care, where everything is good, like you just feel good all the time. You know, people take drugs because they don't feel good, right? It's like, well, you don't think Yahweh just controls what's in, like literally can control your physical being, just like and give you those feelings? You don't even have to take anything. Also, I want a place that I can throw raves, like not just private raves, but I want a public place that I could throw raves that I control, and so I can throw like public events there, but then also have a private areas to do that. Um, and I live in Houston. I want to be able to do stuff all around Houston. You know, I consider this city my city. If you don't like that, I think I'm more rooted here than most other people. The only time I wasn't here is when I went to school at UT Dallas. And the only reason I went to UT Dallas, really, because they had game design, and I wanted to be a game designer, video game designer. And they didn't have that at U of H. They didn't have that at Rice. They didn't have that really anywhere else other than UT Dallas. So they had arts and technology. But, I didn't end up graduating with that, and, whatever. But that's why. So, other than that, I don't think there's a more Houston person ever. So, like, yo. Anyway. Like, my grandma's the real third world trill. Beyonce wants to pretend that that's her. But it's like, okay, well, grandma is actually the one that was rooted there. That's why they wanted to, like, make sure to to get her house and then destroy it, is because, like, yeah, we were actually rooted there for, what, almost 100 years. And then, like, with all this shit that went on with me, I was gonna buy the house, but then they robbed me of the money. They robbed me of whatever. And it's like, well, Yahweh's gonna rob you of your lives and throw you into burning torture because you're fucking dumb, rapey shitheads, and you're gonna get what you deserve. So that's just what it is. But there are some people who are doing good. You'll probably get, doing the right thing in this situation. They believe right too. They also believe in Jesus and Yahweh. Then you'll get right. It is what it is. But okay, that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Or I don't really care if you enjoyed this. If you did, cool. We're probably on the same page. If you didn't, you probably weren't gonna fucking enjoy it anyway. You aren't gonna listen to what I say. You don't care what I have to say. So that could not be more logical to me. So anyway, okay, cool. Have a blessed one. I'll catch you next time. I think I'll have Lightning Lab 14 up sometime soon. But yeah, I just at least the first version, because I might have to go back and tweak some stuff. But okay, so Alessandra, Anja, come on, woof woof, come on. I mean, meow meow, but let's translate that to woof woof, and then come on. Let's do Alessandra. Let's do poop and pee and fart stuff, and yeah, I'm ready. Seems like B's ASMR is gonna take me up on the on the offer, whether you do or not. So you know, I guess whatever. If you're Jezebel, or if you're this thing sacrificed to idols and you've done something evil, well then Yahweh will bless me more, and He will give me a sexier elf queen, maybe even like a version of you that just hasn't acted like a shithead. So, but I'd rather have the one that is. Are you the real one? I don't know. Are you? The real one would come with me. So whatever that is, that's the one that's going to be with me. So hopefully Alessandra and Anja are my dogs. I'm going to keep fingers crossed that they aren't a trap, and that that's someone else, and that the trap from someone else didn't work. Fingers crossed. Okay, anyway. Have a blessed one. Catch you next time. Later. Hope to see my my doggy's beautiful Neanderthal face sometime soon. All right, later. Yeah, I'm talking about Anja and her Neanderthal face because I love it, but it's I also think she looks like a Neanderthal kind of. It is what it is. Anyway, later. Yeah.